And welcome to our call of the John Ident Cup match of the round. West hosting Gungahlin. With me in the commentary chair this afternoon is Dave Lane. Thanks so much for joining me.
Mate, it's not a problem. I love being here. Jamison Enclosed Oval, the feeding ground. It's a massive place. It's a great oval and a great spot to watch football.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day here. I mean, I'm all rugged up because we're in the shade, but it looks like they're going to have a bit of a hot game out in the sun there.
Exactly. The weather's held off pretty well. It's a little bit cloudy, but the good thing is there's no wind. Last weekend in another match, it was swirling around like a whirlpool. Absolutely.
So this afternoon, absolutely still, we can see Big Splash in the background, sending memories to all of us kids who grew up in Canberra, remembering how we used to head down there on a school afternoon in summer. But of course it's deep into May now and quite a warm afternoon. Gungahlin are about to kick off and West hosting them for the first time this season, also looking for their first win of the season. Dave, they've had a bit of a struggled start to the first 7 rounds.
They have. They've a big churn of players through this year has certainly sent them a little bit on the back foot in getting those combinations, but they're starting to settle into it. They've got plenty of points in them, plenty of skill on the park. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
Absolutely. So we'll see if they can do that this afternoon. They've got a big experienced full pack with Ben Coots up into number 3 today. Harry Lloyd is the number 1 and Gary Bounce number 2. We'll run through the team a little bit later, but for now let's have a look how it unfolds. From your perspective, Dave, you're the manager of 3rd grade. You also play a little bit yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, last couple of weeks I've had a few games. Yeah, come out of retirement and helped out where we've been needed, and it's all good. But for this one, very important for the club to get that to get that first win. It trickles down. Our 4th grade are going well. Some of our other teams are going up and down. But it's a case of, these guys, our Premier side, really need a win. They've got to work for it, and this team is going to be hard to beat.
Absolutely, and it seems like this could be an opportunity, however, for them to get the first win on the board. Gungahlin have been hot and cold, but every single time that they've lost this year, on 3 occasions, it's been quite tight by no more than about 5 points. West this season also had a few tight losses, pushed Vikings, who are the competition leaders.
Yeah, that's right.
In their couple of games with them.
Yep, that's right. They can match it with every team, but it's about getting on that front foot and not playing catch-up. Historically, over the last few years, the Eagles have been a bit of a bogey side for West. Every time they've played, it's been a really close occasion, really tight. Only been won either way by a handful of points in the end, and it'll go right down to the wire. So if you're tuning in, stay to the end. I promise you, it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. My name is Kieran Deck, and this is the Club Lime match of the round. We'd like to take a moment just to thank our sponsors, Hahn Superdry, Aquas of the Brumbies, and also Powerade this afternoon, making this broadcast possible. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you tweet at us if you've got something to say. The hashtag is JID16. JID16 is the hashtag if you'd like to have your say this afternoon. As Gungahlin take the ball in possession just short of the halfway line this afternoon. There's been a few changes to both sides as the late mail came through. Pat Tuidraki, the centre for Gungahlin, the young uprising centre, has been put onto the sideline with a foot injury. He's out for a couple of weeks, and replacing him is Luke Ashton in the number 12 jersey this afternoon. Also a bit of a mix around in the backline for Wests. Junior Laturu has been included late in the piece. He came in today. There's also Eli Sinotti has gone into number 11 in the wing position in a bit of a shuffle of their backline. And that is where this game will be played for some of this match, of course, but both teams quite strong when they decide to send the ball wide.
Yeah, exactly right. There's plenty of speed on both times, and everybody across the John Ident these days has really capitalised on that speed. Plenty of skill, plenty of speed, lots of tries out wide.
You are watching us at Jamison Oval as we start with a bit of an arm wrestle. Both sides at the moment have had a little bit of possession, but unforced errors forcing the turnover, and no one really in an attacking position yet. As West get the first penalty, will they take the points?
It's a good option early, get them on the back foot, but they're also looking pretty smart. When they're getting that ball, oh, there you go, he's made the choice for us. That makes it nice and easy.
And those are the guys that have to make that decision. This afternoon, just 4 minutes into this game, West hosting the Eagles. It is, can you believe it, Dave, nearly halfway through the season. We're into round 8. it's getting to the point in the season where if West don't string together a couple of wins, they won't be there at the in the finals.
No, exactly right. I was talking to first grade hooker Gary Bortz just before the game, and it's really important for them to grab a win today because they're going into East. East they haven't got a win either at this stage, and at this time they may get one today, but that will start that trickle. If they can grab two and then roll it in, that'll be great for them.
Oh, and Luke Morrison's penalty attempt has just hooked left of the post, so the score remains 0-0, 4 minutes into this game here at Jamison Oval. And we restart. Gungahlin kicking deep past the halfway line, finding the 22, finding the 10-metre line, and it comes out through hands at the moment. Johnny Pio is picked up and dumped.
Always put his hands up for that one. That looked like it was over the vertical there, that's for sure.
Not happy about it, but the referee said it was just fine, so he lets play continue. A big hit there from JP Fennick-Tau.
Very big tackle there on Dylan Rowe.
And they spread it wide. Astle, the Colts player, in for Seb Laraway today for West, kicks it deep. He finds the touchline, and Gungahlin will reset for the line out.
It's always been a strong point, an attacking place for all teams at the line out, and it's more so these days with their ability to get so much height. It's really important to get that platform.
This competition this year, all the talk has been about how close it is at the first grade level. It's hard to say that. It's hard to justify it when you're looking at the ladder, and West and East both winless. But it is fair to say, as we mentioned earlier, that both those teams have pushed the top teams in this competition. Vikings and Queanbeyan both having to work hard for their points against West and East this year. Last week, East pushed Vikings at half time, but at 10-7, they looked likely to go the distance, but just could not string together the second 40 minutes. You've been around West's lineup for the season, for every game so far this season.
Yeah, that's right.
Has that been an area of struggle? I was talking to Craig Roberts, the coach of West before, and I asked him what do you have to do to get it back together, and he said just hold on to the ball. Yeah,
basically, that's a simple thing. When it comes down to it, it's a simple game. You hold on the ball, the longer you've got it, the better chance you have of scoring and to winning. The other part is tackling, of course. But again, it's those combinations, making sure those combinations stick and those passes stick, and making those smart decisions when you need to.
Laturu is shut down there from some good pressure defence from Gungahlin. Johnny Pio with another turnover. We've got a double knock on, so Gungahlin would get the loose head.
Exactly right. It looks like they'll take their breath here, take their time setting that scrum. They're under a little bit of pressure there, a couple of extra hands, and they could have been in a lot of hurt there. But West are doing well to stay it down and keep it down in this end of the ground, that's for sure.
Just 7 minutes into this game here. It feels like it's been fewer than that. We've had most of the game played in Gungahlin Eagles' defensive half, and West with a good opportunity to keep them there at the moment. Some good defence may put the pressure on the away side. Gungahlin, the favourites here this afternoon at Jamison Oval. They're 3-3 for the season and sit in 4th place on equal points with Royals, the defending premiers this year. Gungahlin really a breakout season for them.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years coming for the Eagles. They've sort of been building towards something, and this year, this could be it. They've got a fairly experienced coaching duo at the top there, with some experience here at West as well that they've taken over to there to apply, which, is you mentioned earlier, is now the local derby, the north side battle for supremacy.
And we have a beautiful oval here today. The surface looks fantastic, a little bit dug up from previous games, but other than that, lovely and green and soft underfoot.
Yeah, as a rule, it's not too bad. You just don't want to get caught in that cricket pitch over in the middle.
Alex Small with the line out, successful for Gungahlin. They throw it wide through Ward to Lovell, and one off, and they go close, just past the 10-metre line. Ward now gives it away to Dobson.
A good tackle there from the Argentinian. That is Maxi Pizza Mieglio.
And a short ball, questionable on how far back it was. It was fairly flat from our angle here on the sideline. We're sitting on the halfway line in the commentary position this afternoon. A good run from Duffy. Takes it up the short side. Now Dobson with the short ball. And Gungahlin in attack. They give it through Connolly. Connolly's pass found his man, but the offload went to ground. Connolly picked it up again and put it on the boot. It's beat the fullback in Morrison. Morrison has to track back, and he clears, looking for touch. Doesn't find it. And the pass from the winger of Gungahlin there, and Andy Barrell hit the turf, so Barrell gets the ball back again. He gives it back to Ashlin. Ashlin with a right foot step off the left boot now, and he's covered. The cover defence was good there from Angus Allen, the under-20s player who's been amongst the under-20s Brumbies squad for Wests. Pick and go now from Jamie Cotts.
Really got to shore that middle up around that breakdown there. That was too easy there. Way too easy. So West have got a bit of work to do just on each side of the fringe there, and they've certainly done it. Dylan Rose got in there.
Another Dobson pick and go. Gungahlin looking short side. They've bit of pointing there from Mitch Ward. He wants to spread it. West making themselves useful at the breakdown and slowing things down again. Jamie Cotts off the left foot. Runs hard at the line, but is tackled.
Oh, it's a turnover there. Good work. Good tackle. Good defence has led to that turnover.
And a clearing kick from Astle will come back, though. No, we'll keep going to where the ball landed. A penalty was given there. We're just trying to figure out what the referee's trying to say.
It looks like it might have been a late tackle there. And they've taken the penalty where the ball was caught.
So no luck on the penalty kick attempts for Wests from a little bit closer than this position about 5 minutes ago. So Astle will look for touch. And he gets it deep. A good kick. Wests with the first real attacking opportunity of the afternoon. Look for them out wide. There's a big Johnny Pio here with the throw, number 14, on the close side wing. Very dangerous if he gets some space.
I suspect they'll probably hold it in for a little bit, draw in some more defenders, and then spin it wide.
And the Maul working for them at the moment. They're standing up in it. And they're over.
That's a try.
West, first points of the afternoon. They use Gungahlin's medicine to make sure that they get the first points of the afternoon. West's Gungahlin, a couple of weeks ago when they were in the match of the round, used the rolling more off the line out to great success twice in a row, just instinctively. And West this afternoon using that same technique to put the first points on the board. Good call there from you, Dave. Straight up the middle. Yeah, straight up.
It is an attacking play these days, especially so close out. We've seen the big boys, the Brumbies, do it so often. Pocock's probably topped the try-scoring list for the last 2 years based off that same play. If it works for them, why wouldn't it work for us? These guys train for that. Why wouldn't we throw something around and something similar?
And that is something that's so fantastic about this local competition, is that the Brumbies just aren't that far away. They're very integrated. Often when there's a bye or a player doesn't get selected, they'll come down and play for their club. Not the case this afternoon from these two teams, but we have seen a few players as the kick goes wide. We have seen a few players down here this afternoon, Dave.
Exactly right. A certain coach of a certain team that plays Super Rugby here in Canberra came down and played 3rd and 4th grade. So that's it. Steve Larkham run out at fullback for the 3rd grade and 4th grade side. Did himself, no disservice at all. Absolutely was great. Set up a try, scored a couple himself, and looked still in pretty good touch.
And the kickoff was no good. It's actually gone backwards off the bounce. It didn't make 10 metres in the air. And so we'll come back to the centre, and West will get an opportunity to double up on their first points.
Yeah, exactly. I think they'll take the scrum option here. Split the attacking both sides, but who knows? Let's see if they can bamboozle one way or the other.
The scrum half this afternoon is obviously Peter Rains for West. His half pairing is Joel Astle in the number 10 jersey for West, and a young player coming in for an experienced player in Seb Laraway.
Yeah, good opportunities. That's a good thing. The Colts get an opportunity to train with our 1st grade and 2nd grade sides here. And there's a couple of guys that are and able to step in when injuries hit. So that's the good thing about preparing down to that level. So
absolutely, and I guess that's where we were getting to before, where we're talking about luck and playing down at 3rd and 4th grade. Those Brumbies are very much integrated in this club level, and the players who don't necessarily get an exposure to the professional scene, as Gungahlin spread it wide, and they've got some space. He's taken down. I couldn't quite see who that was, but my best guess is that was Andy Barrell on the left wing. He was taken from the arm, couldn't hold on to the ball, and it went over the sideline. West with some scrambling defence.
Yeah, only a little bit of room to move over there for Andy, and he tried his best to manoeuvre through it, tiptoed down that sideline, but they just needed to get him over that line and make that 16th player. The line becomes that 16th player. It certainly helps when that occasion happens. Just give him a little nudge and put him over there. So they can take a breath there, West, because they were looking in a little bit of trouble if he'd managed to get through.
Gungahlin have made a bit of a name for themselves, putting themselves up as genuine title contenders this year, using their backline. Obviously, the dominance at the breakdown matters to be able to spread it wide, but I've seen them score a few tries from long range, such as that.
Yeah, it certainly makes it very exciting when you've got, for your team's prospects, when you've got that opportunity to score deep in your own 22, spread it wide, beat one or two men and use your speed to get there, but you still need those guys up front to sort of lay that foundation for those speedsters.
West win the scrum.
It's actually not a bad result for West after being exposed on that far wing. They've got the Ben-Arm penalty here. They'll look to make some space, put them on the back foot and sweat on another mistake.
Got a...
Right, are you getting me through this? You getting me through it? Is it coming through nice and clear?
Yes.
Don't send it. Okay, good.
A big scrum for West here. They need to get that clearing kick or use the feet of one of the Laturus. That's Junior. And it goes back to Astle on the boot. Kotz does well. Gives it back to Duffy. Duffy with a big run.
Well, they've got to hold that line. They can't let those halfbacks snipe those forwards coming through. They've really got to set it and make them run around.
Mitch Ward, very well known for his ability to snipe around the ruck, as Ben McGee uses his experience to tap and go quickly. The referee says it's fine. Gary bounced with a covering tackle, but he got it away. And it's still going, but it's on the ground now. And West to clean up. They're coming down the short side. They need men. Gungahlin making it hard for them at the breakdown, but they do well enough to be able to stay in attack. West now getting themselves out of trouble. They come back through Harry Lloyd. Short side again. Astle off the boots. Searching kick. Kotz gave it back to Duffy. Duffy's kick is high. And a spin there from Dylan Rowe.
Yeah, Dylan Rowe's only turned up to the club in the last couple of weeks and found himself in first grade and has certainly been holding his head high in how he goes about his business on the field.
Oh, and forward was the call from the players on the field. You could hear it on our sideline mic, and that's exactly what the referee said. So they'll come back to the halfway line.
So we got a break here. Want to wish congratulations to a couple of West guys who've made the Australian Barbarians team to take on the Australian under-20s in Chatswood this week. Brody Lieber, who's involved in their Brumbies under-20s, he's been selected. He's pushing. He's going to go on to bigger and better things. But the surprise packet was Maximilian Pizzamiaglo. He's made it as well. So he's come from Argentina. He's training with the Brumbies, and he's got to start in this Australian Barbarian side to take on the under-20s.
Absolutely wonderful opportunity for him. Maximilian Pizzamiaglo actually can't speak English.
No,
he turns up to training, understands all the plays, thanks to his good fellow Argentinian, Gonzalo Chain, as the translator.
Exactly right. That and a good old, language translator app on your iPhone or whatever has certainly got him through okay. So he seems to be doing all right. It must be working.
Yeah, fantastic. And that game is coming up in the next month or so. The under-20s against the Barbarians?
20s Tuesday, this Tuesday in Chatswood.
This week, okay.
Yeah, it's their final hit-out, the under-20s hit-out before the Junior World Cup, which will be in the UK this year, and that's in a month or so away, I think.
Canberra well represented in that Australian under-20s team. A number of other players from down south in Canberra also making that side. Jordan Jackson-Hope, who made his Brumbies debut against the Rebels last week, is amongst them. Yeah, no, good representation across both teams. There was 8 John Ident players selected in that Barbarians team as well, which would feature guys from the Shoot Shield and a couple of ex-guys like Rodney Iona, who's playing with Warringah. He was involved with Tuggeranong last year and with the Brumbies as well, and the Vikings as well. He's in the squad, so it's quite a good balance of team. A couple of guys from the Brisbane competition as well. So it's not bad to get that recognition for the competition we have here. Definitely punching above its weight, and a fantastic addition. The Brumbies this year making it a regular occasion, this live stream, and ensuring that there are a couple of commentators on every week, which is fantastic. Going around to the match of the round, sponsored by Club Lime. And West's in a little bit of a ping-pong battle there. End up with the field position, but Gungahlin will have the ball.
Really got to capitalise. They've been down here. They've been in this sort of third of the ground for most of the first half, and have only come away with the 1 try. So they really need to start putting a few points on them, and then turn them around and work them in the sun as it goes down in the second half.
As the Shadows start to make their way across the ground, just edging themselves into view now. The line out is good from Gungahlin. They go short. Now they throw it wide. A short pass finds Ashland. And Ashland is hit hard. Back to Lovell. Lovell's left boot is long, but it finds the West winger up the back there in... I apologise, that wasn't a winger.
That was Big Cootsy barrelling his way, doing what he does best. Big Ben Coots, former Queensland Red and Brumbies as well.
Been around for a long time, Ben Coots. West in a good position again. They have the lead here at Jamison Oval, just past the quarter-way mark this afternoon. Johnny Pio with the ball now, shut down. There he is, Big Ben Coots, acting scrum half. Cut-out pass from the big man. They keep position but gain no territory. Astle with cuts out 2 over the top, finds Laturu, Junior Laturu. He's hopping in the tackle, gives it back again to Rowe. Astle. Good defence at the moment from Gungahlin. Bounce finds a way past the advantage line, but he's shut down. Offside, says the referee.
A pretty smart play there from Gary Bortz just to get in and behind them and get that offside so evident. They put him in a good position for a kick here.
Now, Dave, we've had some technical issues at the start of the game, but we're trying something a little bit different today, and it's fantastic to have, if he can hear us and if he's able to talk to us, Trent Pollard on the sideline. Trent.
How you going, boys? First thing I've noticed from the sideline is that the Eagles' talk just isn't there. And in the weeks gone by, they've been the most organised team with the ball. West had a massive focus on their defensive structure during the week, and that's really coming into play. And the Eagles, they're throwing the ball.
Struggling with the connection there, Trent, but thank you for your input. It's something we can't notice from the side here is the talk. As West throw it wide, there wasn't another person there. If there was someone in support of Laturu, they may have crossed. They're getting close now. West's pushing, goes short side again. P.O. with a big step. He reaches out and gets over the line.
He slam dunks it there. He thought he was in the NBA Finals. Well done, Johnny.
A wonderful try there in exactly the same position as their first one of the afternoon. 10 points to 0 it is. 16 minutes to go here in the first half at Jamison Oval. Well, West looking threatening and have the advantage. There's no doubt about that, Dave Lane.
No, exactly right. Like I said, they've been playing in this third. They've been really, really pushing into it and getting out of their own half, making it impetus and being important to be in this third and this attacking third, then trying their hand. In the lead up to that play, there was about 7 or 8 phases there where they had the ball, and good ball structure led to that, and good playing structure led to that penalty where they were able to get it. The lucky bounce at the back of the thing. It went over the line out, as you would have seen, but it bounced and it come off, and they ended up getting again to spin it right the other way, so not too bad. And considering Johnny Pio was on this side of the field a few minutes ago, he did very, very well to get on that far side.
A big workhorse in this competition, and one of the few that you can notice from far away with the big afros. Though you got to watch out for them, those Islander boys with the afros on the wing. It's always dangerous.
Exactly right. And hopefully it's not a Samson and Delilah thing. If they get it cut, they're no good. Keep it growing, I say.
Rugby players don't have any sort of superstition, do they?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
They'll tell you they won't, but then of course they'll put all of their underpants in a row by colours, by week. They'll brush their teeth at a certain time and everything like that. But they don't have any suspicions that they'll tell you about. That's for sure.
Okay, fair enough. We were talking before, Dave, about how you're a clubman, a long time spent here at West. I noticed just now, there's a knock on off the kickoff. You hate to see it. It's just a real tough thing after a second try of the afternoon. West taking the lead 10-0, and then off that kickoff, putting the ball down, giving Gungahlin a sniff. Yeah,
a little bit deflating that. But the sun as well, that corner of the field, very sunny. You can see the sun sort of sitting there, makes it very hard, those high balls, and they're playing to that. We'll probably do the same thing in the second half if there's any light left, but we're definitely playing to it. So, but still, should have and could have done better.
Under 15 minutes left in the first half here. Yeah, I just noticed, Dave, that you've got a West tattoo on your left forearm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Was involved with a 4th grade premiership in 2007, long overdue. Played in a couple of others that we didn't quite get across the line. So yeah, very honoured to be involved in a premiership finally.
And Gungahlin, in return, dropped the ball, getting West out of trouble. They can thank their lined up underpants that they didn't have to defend there.
That's it. It's got to be blamed on something. It's either karma or luck or that superstition, of course.
We might try and find out if Trent can hear us again. Down on the sideline.
Got me there, boys?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, it's the execution is definitely letting the Eagles down at the moment. It's been a real strong point of theirs, getting the ball up to the other end and really finishing off on the wing. But unfortunately, Andrew Barrell and Jamie Cotts, the Eagles wingers, have only got the ball when they've headed into the middle of the field. So the West defensive structures have held up fantastically, and the Eagles are looking for answers pretty desperately.
Yeah, it's an interesting observation that Trent's made about that talk, that lack of talk. Whether it's a flatness amongst the group, the playing group, or it's just something that they haven't been able to sort of imprint in their game thus far. It's really important, making sure you know where your players are, making sure you know where you're going and what you're doing so they can react accordingly.
It's a real test this afternoon, despite the fact that West haven't had a win all season. Perhaps one of the, you wouldn't say easier signs, but one of the contests that they've been looking forward to. But off the back of a bye, Gungahlin testing their structures. When you come off the back of a bye, you've got time to forget what you, as JP Fennickatow breaks through the advantage line. He's out on his own. He's got one to beat. He throws it to the left, and the ball goes on the ground. Again, execution, as Trent Pollard on the sideline was saying.
Yeah, really bad pass there. Final pass should have hit his mark, and they certainly would have gone over for a try there, I think. Yeah,
off the back of a bye, you would imagine that the mindset, you have to get yourself back into that correct mindset for the game.
Exactly right. Like the professionals, even the professionals sort of struggle with getting across that week off that break where they can go out and see their family, do something out of the ordinary, out of their ordinary schedule. But it's a case of them, trying to get onto it nice and quick, get it out the way, but you make up for it in training.
Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Yeah, they've just held up that line out there. Connor O'Byrne's taken a knock to the head. He's been given the all clear. He's still playing, but you just want to keep an eye out there, Kieran.
And another lost ball, frustrating Gungahlin Eagles fans this afternoon. They haven't found themselves in this part of the field very often this afternoon, but every time they have, they've given it up.
Yeah, unforced errors. A bit like Wimbledon final. You know, unforced errors are certainly going to be the difference today by the looks of it.
And certainly something West have put together in this first half. 11 and a half minutes to go. 10-0 is the score. West have certainly been able to take advantage of their field position.
Yeah, exactly. They certainly are. They're playing for that field position. They're really hungry to get there and get to the points that they need to.
West and East, the two sides this season who have had 2 byes. This is round 8, nearing the halfway mark of the John Ident Cup in 2016. Both sides without a win. The kick finds Duffy on the 10-metre line. His pass is searching. Barrel gets it. He pushes through. Gains 20 metres and he's still going. But again, that pass, that's a Dan Atkins killer, that one. I've lost count, but it would be close to 3 or 4 occasions that they've made a break on that left side, but that searching offload has not found its man.
You're exactly right. He doesn't have much hair, Dan Atkins, at the moment, and he would have much less after some of these passes. That one looked a little bit forward as well, but just poor execution off the pass, either pushing it too hard, poor technique, or whatever it is, or just rushing it and having the guys not in the right position. Intent's fine, but execution is the one that you need to, get you where you need to be. As
we're talking about the wingers in a roundabout way, I've bit of news during the week. Jamie Cotts, the 14 for Gungahlin, his sister Ebony has just been named in the Fijian squad for the Sevens.
Oh.
So she's potentially in line for an Olympic berth.
Oh, excellent work. Excellent. Congratulations.
Big congratulations to Ebony. He, I saw that on Facebook this week. He announced it with great pride and suggested that he hopes they get to travel the world together at some point.
Yeah, exactly. What a great addition to the Olympic tradition rugby sevens is going to be. So many people are super keen for it. I mean, you've got people quitting NFL to come and have a crack at it these days. It's going to be big. We're going to find all sorts of stars coming and having a crack. And Sonny Bill Williams, he's fallen into it. The guy could have a World Cup medal, a Premiership medal, and a gold Olympic medal on his shelf.
Look, talk about inspiration for young kids, especially around this local competition. If you're thinking about Jamie Cotts, one of the fastest players in this competition, it's not out of the question for him to be amongst that one day.
No, exactly right. I mean, we've got the John Ident has a great tradition in the Australian 17s. Tim Cornforth, straight off the top of my head, is a guy who's playing for Royals at the moment. He went through that system and he did very, very well at that as well.
As Charlie Laturu makes a break, he's shut down and West have to cover now. It comes back through Rains to Bounce. Bounce beats 2-ish. 1.5. Gets to the grounds. West still in possession. Astle gives it back to Chain. Chain searching pass hits the ground. Johnny Pio has to clean it up. He does well, but they lose a little bit of ground. Gungahlin up to the task. Gungahlin now with less than 10 minutes to go in this first half of football need to find some points. A high ball is there for Duffy, and Duffy gives it out to Barrel. Gungahlin just past the halfway line now. A big run from Connolly, the 100-gamer a couple of weeks ago against Royals. He didn't announce it though because he wanted to play it at home, which I think is coming up next week. They're going to have a big occasion for Mitch Connolly. 100 first-grade games, the centre.
Yeah, there's no fanfare when you play something like that at an away game. You wait for it, save it up till you get it home. So you could be on 103 before you get home to play it, and that's where you'd want to do it. You want to do it in front of your home fans.
An inside ball now to Cotts, and he's hit hard. He ran into the former Reds and Brumbies player Ben Coots, and Coots is cleaning out the ruck with expert precision now. Dobson takes it up for Gungahlin. It goes short side again. That's Ashlin. Ashlin is free. He dummies and goes himself. It was potentially the wrong option because he's tackled just short of the line. If he had given it off, maybe Gungahlin were over. They go back through Connolly and out through hands. It's Helgeson, shorts. They get a penalty, playing advantage. Gungahlin just stretch over. We couldn't quite see who it was, but they get 5 points, says the referee, and they're back in the game.
They are back in the game. West have kicked it to their back three. The Gungahlin Eagles' back three have been very dangerous when they've gotten that ball and been able to link with a bit of speed. They really need to get them on the deck, or at least kick to some spaces to nullify that back three attack.
And in Gungalin's defence, I guess, they've had a number of attacking opportunities out to that left side, and they've really been their own worst enemy. West perhaps need to look at that at half-time to make sure that they don't give them any more opportunities. It's kind of like catches win matches. If you've got that chance to shut that left side attack down, you should be. Yeah,
exactly right. 3 or 4 occasions there where they've just held their breath and managed to get out of it, get out of jail in that regard because of those bad passes, poor last passes and whatever else. If they'd have stuck, the score could have been something totally different. We could have been talking 25-30 to 10 at the moment with the kick to come. But thankfully, West are still in front. They've done enough to get in front. I think they're looking at their half-time break. They've put a lot into this first half. If they can get another one, I think there's probably another try in it before the half-time break. Not too sure to who, but I definitely think there's another one in here. So it'll either make it very, very interesting come the second half.
5.5 minutes left here in the game at Jamison Oval. Duffy's kick is good. Another 2 points. It's 10 points to 7 here at Jamison Oval. Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Mate, that was a great try from Mitchell Connolly. The Eagles are scrambling a little bit here. It was an interesting point you made before when Mitchell and Andrew Barrell both took hit-ups in the middle of the field there. The Eagles are scrambling for answers. They don't know what to do about this West defence.
Thanks, Trent. And they do, despite the fact that we were talking about that right side defence being found out on a number of occasions, West have had the field position, and that's mostly thanks to their strong defence in Gungalin's half of the field this afternoon. So West's looking up to the challenge. It's anyone's game here. Less than 5 minutes to go at Jamison Oval in the club line match of the round. West's hosting Gungahlin in the Northern Derby.
There's a hint of a knock-on from this side, but the referee was on the far side, so we didn't get to see it.
Ben McGee's got it on the sideline, gives it back to Kotz, and Kotz is taken down on the 10-metre line now. Gungahlin go through Ward to Lovell to Fennickatau.
He's a strong runner, that Fennickatau, isn't he?
He's one of those eights that you fear, I would imagine, running onto the field. And they're spreading it wide again. They're attacking that right side of fence as we were talking about before. West doing well this time to make sure it's only 20 metres conceded, but Gungahlin looking likely every time they go to the left side. They come back towards us here on the grandstand side of the field. Jamie Kotz is in some space. Johnny Pio's covering defence, and his big, strong upper body is able to bring him down. A pick and go now from Gungahlin. Fennickatau over the top. He's still going. Laturu, the centre, was holding onto his legs, did all the work there. Good defence from Laturu. Lovell gives it back to Duffy.
Oh, good grass-cutting tackle there.
And Duffy gave it back up, and Lovell didn't really know what to do with it. O'Byrne now. O'Byrne looking strong. Cover defence is good from West. Dave Lane, you suggested there may be another 5 points in it. West want it to be them, but they've got an opportunity now to make sure it's not Gungahlin. Can they muscle up?
That's right. They've got to sweat those mistakes and force them into mistakes.
As it goes back to O'Byrne. Ward's pass hits the turf. They were playing advantage. Lovell knew it. And it may be a card here.
It's like a professional foul there. Yellow card to Coots. Ben Coots there for kicking out, lashing out with his foot at the back there. Very cynical sort of play. In that sort of space, that's not what you want from one of your seasoned players.
Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Yeah, Connor O'Byrne's just down at the moment. He's actually having his upper body checked. I think he's had another head knock. He did not have one earlier, and he's gone down. Ben Coots coming off the field for a yellow card there. It'll be interesting to see how West handle this. They're going to have to sub off a back rower for a new prop.
Thanks, Trent. Let's hope Connor O'Byrne's okay down there, being tended to by the doctor. We've got a pause in play at the moment.
He still hasn't moved, Kevin. I seriously doubt whether he's going to keep playing. And here comes a substitute for West, bringing on a new front rower.
Yeah, you don't want to see a yellow card this late in the half and this close to your line. But so saying, you don't want to see one of your star players down injured as well. One of the guys that provides you that go forward and experience you need as a team as well. It either lifts you or deflates you.
Absolutely. Connor O'Byrne, a massive player for the Gungahlin Eagles this year. The skipper as well. So let's hope he's okay. Yes, Trent?
Yeah, Kieran, it's definitely a belt injury for Connor. I think it's a dislocation, but he's not looking good whatsoever, and they are keeping it very still.
He's coming off very gingerly there.
I confirm, but it looks like a dislocation.
Hopefully he's okay. He's got his arm wrapped up there.
All the players from the field are clapping him off. He definitely won't be returning today. Sam O'Leary's replacing him. Sam O'Leary played all last season in first grade. He has just played a full game in second, so this will be interesting to see how he goes.
And definitely, as you mentioned there, Sam O'Leary playing first grade last year, coming off the bench. That's something that Dan Atkins has introduced this year, Dave, is his willingness to make changes despite the fact that they're on top. He said to me a couple of weeks ago that even though they may have won a game, they prefer to include a new player in the lineup just to keep the rotation through. Yeah,
it builds experience, especially coming towards the pointy end of the season. You know, injuries are inevitable in our game. At any given point, you could, like we've seen, you could be taken off the field, and you need to have that experience to slot in. If you've got a good structures around them and good players with skills, they can slot in. It makes it a lot easier in those occasions.
Sam O'Leary coming into the second row now for Gungahlin, as Gungahlin have an opportunity with 2.5 minutes left on the clock in the first half to possibly get the lead for the first time this afternoon. West down to 14 men with Ben Coots sent off. Ben Coots just grabbing his son and putting him on his lap on the sideline there. Big scrum from Gungahlin. Mitch Ward is waiting for it, but it's going to come back for Fenneca. Towel goes over, and they get the 5 points next to the uprights.
Yeah, going into half-time, you don't want that for West. It's deflating after all the good work that they've done. But they've not only got themselves to blame when they've gotten guys sent off, so smartness has to play a part into it as well. An
especially tough game here this afternoon as we see O'Byrne coming off in a fair bit of pain, and both teams blowing fairly hard late here in the game. And in a few minutes' time, we're going to have Trent Pollard for us have a chat to Pat Tuidraki, who's injured for the Gungahlin Eagles, as Connor O'Byrne walks in front of us here. You can hear his boots on the concrete and claps as he comes off. Hopefully he's okay. Not too long out of the game for him. What do West have to do here?
Mate, they just have to regroup. I mean, it's not gone. The game's not gone. You know, it's the momentum of the game's changed a little bit later into this second half. And again, that comes with fatigue and with tiredness. They've just got to return to their structures and do the things that they needed to do, or they did do in the first half of the first half. Play for that field position, sweat those mistakes, string those phases together, and the gaps will come. Got to take advantage of the opposition as well. You've got to read the opposition and really put your foot on their throat. When you know they're down, you can sense that they're down. So hopefully they can change that mindset in their own head and push it back onto them.
With 30 seconds left in this half, we know West are very capable of scoring. They've got 2 tries this afternoon. The kick's going wayward. But West's still well within the game, and Craig Roberts will probably have a lot of that to say to his men come the halftime break. 13 seconds as the ball goes out. We'll have the line outs, says the referee, as Gungahlin make a couple of changes. These shadows may be a bit of a challenge later in the afternoon. We can see them coming across the ground as it comes out the back. A poor line out and the ball hits the ground. Gungahlin take it through the number 12 and Ashland. Ashland's still going, covering defence. The siren has sounded. Half time has come, but the ball's still in play. As it comes back, this is Ashland now.
Really got to hold on here. You don't want to be heading into the change rooms with 2 tries down late in the piece like that.
And they give it back through Coyle. Gungahlin with an opportunity to do exactly what you were talking about there before and put the foot on the throat, Dave Lane. And they're coming up that left side attack now. They'll come back through Ward to Lovell. And Lovell gives it to the experienced McGee. Ward and Lovell again combine. Connolly with a jump and catch. He's a little tricky inside ball to Kotz. Kotz is still going. He beats two. He's
there. Got to hold him up,
close
though.
to the line. Good defence from West in the end. And there may be a turnover. No, it's Fenneca with the ball now. They come short side again through Duffy. Lovell cut out pass and Connolly.
Oh, he's called it forward.
Oh, the ball went forward. So they nearly had another 5 points this afternoon. And West skip jail and head up to Mayfair because they've got a lifeline.
Yeah, exactly. They certainly needed that. They were holding on for all life there to keep them out, and that wide pass just shaded him on the outside there. Thankfully, it was a little bit forward, but if he hit the money, they would have skipped away and made it, a little bit harder. That task just a little bit harder, and that halftime chat a little bit louder, no doubt.
Absolutely. We've got a scrum here, so the referee's going to pack it down. And West's, you would think, just clearing kick. And in a moment we'll have Trent Pollard on the sideline with the injured centre for Gungahlin, Pat Tuidraki. Trent Pollard, the media manager for Gungahlin, and a media intern with the Brumbies. Great to have him on the sideline this afternoon. Our team's growing.
It is growing. It's a quality team too. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Dave. You're the glue, mate. You're in between.
Ah, that's it. I've always been the glue.
A quick moment just to thank our sponsors. Han Superdry, the sponsors of the John Ident Cup in 2016. Club Lime are also sponsoring the match of the round, making this broadcast possible. Thank you for watching. If you have something to say on the game, remember you can use the hashtag JID16 on Twitter. And you may even see your comment come up on the screen. Keep interacting. Let us know how you think this game is going and tell us where you think West can take advantage of Gungahlin as they win the scrum. The game's still on. And another opportunity for Gungahlin to extend their lead. It comes back to Kotz. West look out on their feet as they come to the short side. A cutout pass through Barrel was missed. It went through his hands and over the sideline. But it will come back to an advantage play. So we're still going after the halftime break.
It's a very long half, this one. There was a little bit of injury time there that might explain it, but it is a very long half here.
And not what you want as a West player or fan, Dave.
No, exactly right. It's starting to get heart and mouth stuff. It could be the difference between the game here. Psychologically, heading into the sheds with an extra try under their belt, it could be, it could be something that could be insurmountable.
But as journalists, we don't like to speculate.
No.
But you're right. It's true. We could see that that advantage, that momentum come through Gungahlin and into the half. It's
exactly.
Often that momentum carries over.
Yeah, exactly right. The mind is such an integral player and an integral part of any player's arsenal. And once that's gone, and it's hard to get back, as we've seen with some of our local tennis stars. Once they lose it, they've lost it.
Back to the rugby. Big scrum now.
Big scrum.
West looking much stronger than their last attempts. Fenneca comes out the back with the ball. He's high. They're holding him up, but he's still moving. Is he going forward? I think that's McGee with it now. And finally, the referee calls half-time here at Jamison Oval. A tense finish for my co-commentator, Dave Lane. I can see you edging close to the side of your seat. Stay with us, everyone at home. In a moment, we're going to have for you a quick little interview with Pat Tuidraki. Over to you, Trent Pollard.
Thanks, boys. Yeah, I'm down here with Eagles superstar and inside centre Pat Tuidraki. Now, Pat, the last few weeks, especially against Royals a few weeks ago and today, slow starts have been letting you guys down a bit. What do you put that down to?
Well, we just coming in from the warm-up and straight into the game is something we haven't done in the last 2 weeks. And it's pretty crucial, I reckon, for the game and how it turns out for us. So I reckon that's something we really need to work on in the next few weeks.
The Eagles have definitely had a big focus on their depth, saying they've got a 30-man squad. So Luke Ashton's taken your spot today, and Sam O'Leary's been rushed on the field to replace club captain Connor O'Byrne. What do you think about that depth, and how's Luke going in your spot?
Luke Ashton's definitely playing well, making a couple of line breaks there. and defending really well. So we haven't really lost anything today. If anything, he's doing really well. Yeah.
And just finally, very quickly to finish up, if you were the coach, what would your final message be?
If I was the case, if you find the rhythm and get the forward momentum like how the Bulls have ended the second half, just to start off the second half was pretty strong, like how they finished off in the first half. Yep.
Thank you very much, Pat. Back to you, boys.
Thanks a lot, Trent, and join us in a minute. We're going to be back for the second half here at Jamison Oval. Welcome back to Jamison Oval as the teams take the field again. Well, they didn't leave it. They had their half-time consultations on the field, which is a little bit rare in this first-grade competition, but coaches obviously happy to make it known what they've got to share. Both teams had their half of the first half. West came out strong and caught Gungahlin off guard, scoring the first 2 tries. The second 2 tries came from Gungahlin, but they had more opportunities than that. And Dave Lane, as you mentioned, it could be a much larger scoreline. West's, after a break, an opportunity to get themselves back in the game now.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's look in the next 5 to 10 minutes. They'll be hoping that they'll be the first try scorers to get that second-hand revival off to a good start. I'm not too sure what will happen if it goes the other way.
And the restart just getting the 10 metres, and it's come back off hands. A great little restart in the end, but it was questionable off the boot. And a short ball now. West with the first attacking opportunity. That was Gonzalo Chain off to an offload, and then coming back through hands. Rowe under the legs.
Oh, very much. We're talking about local tennis stars doing hot shots. That wasn't a bad one.
Dave Rowe making his name known. Oh, and a big hit forces the knock on, and you can hear the cheers of the Gungahlin crowd. That was JP Fenegatow making himself known in the number 8 jersey this afternoon.
Yeah, just got Big Maxi there, just on his side there as he was looking to catch that ball. So it was a big hit. Forced the knock on, but still not that spectacular, not that spectacular.
You're right. He could have gone heavier than that. Max Pismiglio, I can't say his name. Max Pismiglio, not able to hold on to the ball on that occasion.
Yeah, bit of work there. It puts the pressure back on West. Like I said, they wanted to start strong, and now they've put themselves in the back foot.
Ward out to Lovell. Through hands now, Ashland. And West doing well to force the turnover. Gonzalo Chain had nowhere to go, but they have some room now. Good rushing defence from Alex Small, taking up it up to Laturu. Laturu acting scrum half now, gives it back to Morrison. And Morrison is looking for his man on the outside. He gives it, but it wasn't him. It was Andy Barrell, and Andy Barrell has the speed. He will go all the way this afternoon. Andy Barrell scores the first points of the second half here at Jamison Oval. And Gungahlin with the ascendancy leading into the second half.
Well, it took him 43 minutes to do that, right? He'd been threatening to do exactly the same thing on that far side. He's been given the room here, and he's gone through and he's delivered.
I was about to say, before that breakaway there from Andy Barrell, that the first person to score this half is going to be hard to beat. The first team to score is going to be hard to beat. And West really didn't do too much wrong there. It was maybe a little bit of slack work from... I think it was Laturu on the sideline here to give away the ball, and Andy Barrell was good enough to jump on the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. Forced passes in those situations when they're not on, they will really put you on the back foot, right in front of the coach as well. So you can imagine what kind of spray he's going to get in the second half, or when he finishes. And I've just been reminded that I've got my numbers wrong there. That was actually Jamie Kotz, the try scorer, not Andy Barrell, wearing the number 11 jersey this afternoon. Jamie Kotz, as we mentioned before, one of the quickest players in the competition. Sam O'Leary there. Look at
went
this, they've got the ball back on already. That's good work.
Fantastic work from West in another attacking position. The score 19 points to 10. We've got 21 points to 10. And West's on the attack now, coming back through Angus Allen, the under-20s player. Having an opportunity in first grade this year for Wests. Rains gives it back to Pio. Pio's been ever present this afternoon. Back through Astle to Laturu. Junior Laturu's taken on the upper body and spun himself to the ground. The ball has come loose again, though, for Wests. No support for Dobson. And a sloppy passage of play from both sides. It'll come back to the first knock-on.
It certainly started as a barnstormer this second half, hasn't it?
Trent Pollard on the sideline.
I don't think West really deserved to concede a try like that. That was probably the sloppiest they've been. But just very quickly, I was talking to Eagles coach Dan Atkins. Tells me composure is definitely the key. Retaining that ball will definitely be the focus for the Eagles this half.
Thanks, Trent, and that is something that we've noticed across the teams who haven't been up the top of the table this year, that this last 20 minutes of the game, heading into the last 20 minutes of the game, is where the mistakes start to come, and they've come early on in this second half. Yeah,
hopefully it's not something that'll continue for the rest of the half. Hopefully a little bit of structure and a little bit of phase play will come into it, and it's not going to be that knock-on sort of fast break transition type play.
You can hear the cries of the scrum. It was a dominant scrum from Wests. Gungalin's advantage. Not rolling away, says the referee, so some sloppy work from West at the breakdown. The sun hasn't gone down here in Canberra, but the clouds have come over, so we've got nice even light across the ground now, making it a bit easier for our cameramen and certainly for the players as well.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly helps when you're running from that shade to that light. It makes it a little bit hard to pick up the ball sometimes. But these guys, almost semi-professional, some of them, they should be able to adjust. But this has certainly helped.
Alex Small to throw the line out, but West won it.
Very nice touch there.
Angus Allen with another big run, injecting himself into the game this second half, and a penalty for Wests. Gary Boyks wanted to tap and go, but maybe a decision from a higher power decided to hold on to it and go for touch.
Yeah, exactly. I think deep into that corner, that bottom left-hand corner, nice, good, strong line out. And again, why not go to them all? Let's see what happens.
And we saw them have some success with that early on in the first half. And West really need to score next here to stay in the game. Just over half an hour left in the game here at Jamison Oval, the club line match of the round. Dave Lane, we've got a tough tussle in this second half if Wests are able to score here.
Yeah, if they can get into the try line, into that try area, then it is going to be game on. There's plenty of time for both teams to sort of win it and lose it, so I don't be sweating it, but they've got to stay close. They can't let them skip away too far ahead.
Quick play from Rains. He darts out and gives it to Harry Lloyd. Lloyd gets inches past the advantage line, but Gungahlin a bit pesky at the breakdown. They get penalised for their work.
Looks like they killed the ball off their feet there.
Paddy, yes I do.
Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Yeah, I've just got confirmation that Connor O'Byrne, Eagles second row that went off injured at about the 30th minute, definitely hasn't dislocated his shoulder, which is great news. Suspected AC tear or potential fracture.
And Trent, do you know if he's off to hospital or he stick around?
He's gone off to hospital for scans, but they are more than likely to be an AC tear.
He's hoping that he's not out for too long. West's looking to the maul, as Dave Lane alluded to before, having some success early on. Gungahlin need more men behind there. They're rolling around. They've just kept them out for now. Peter Rains wants the quick ball but can't get it, and so the referee penalises Gungahlin for coming in and forcing it to slow down. West with another opportunity, back-to-back-to-back penalties at the moment.
Yeah, they really made plenty of ground off the back of those penalties, and they're in a great position here. As a captain, you'd either look for the scrum as well, set the platform there. You could attack from both sides or push over through the middle, depending how. But the last few scrums I've noticed, they've all gone down a little bit. They've been very sloppy, very low, very sloppy, highly intense, and it hasn't been good. So they haven't been able to get that clean ball away from that scrum. So let's see, tap and go perhaps.
The referee just blowing time back on. 30 minutes to go. We're going to pack down for the scrum.
Oh, there we go. Let's see if they can hold this up and drive it forward. Let's see if they don't bring it to the ground.
A few cold legs out here in the back line. We've had a few penalties at the breakdown, and the forward's doing all the work at the moment. Again, another sloppy scrum, as you alluded to before, Dave.
Yeah, very sloppy there. I don't know if it's a footing problem or if it's just the fact that they're all trying to outdo each other, but they're going to ground very quickly. It can get a little bit dangerous in that situation, but if the opposition's pulling it down, the referee might have to go to his pocket, pull out a card.
We already have seen one card this afternoon. Ben Coots was given a professional foul, sent off for 10 minutes, and is back on the field now. At the front of that scrum, looking a little bit better this time. West dominate. Peter Rains comes out nice and quick, and the knockdown came from the Gungahlin hand, and it was a knock-on, so they'll have another scrum in exactly the same position. They might need to change it slightly to get better footholds for the scrummages.
It's an interesting one there. He's got plenty of pressure on the halfback there to get his hand onto that ball and knock it down. And again, it's a cynical kind of play. You try and disrupt their attack, take the wind out of their sails, and see if you can get them on the back foot as well, and hope that they make a mistake through tiredness or frustration.
Trent Pollard.
Yeah, I've just got confirmation from Phillip Oval that Royals are defeating East 40 points to 3, as expected. So that'll sit Royals nicely in third position. If the Eagles can hold on to their lead here, that will secure them in fourth spot. So they won't be catching Royals today.
Very impressive display from Royals to keep East scoreless. East have had a couple of big injuries over the last couple of weeks, which are putting them, I think they had 9 starting first grade players out for the Vikings game last week, and they lost another one during that game. So it's a tough little period for East, and Royals doing well to keep them to the nil so far in that game.
Yeah, Royals. One thing Royals have certainly got going for them is depth. They've got a lot of players right through their grade, so they can call on guys to come through. East are the flip side. They don't have that many. They're building towards that and hoping that in the near future that they will have that. A resurgence and injection of players will certainly build up their numbers. But you lose a few injuries, 2 or 3 you can sort of manage, but when it gets up to 7, 8 or 9, it becomes really, really tough to cover.
Royals and Gungahlin will consider themselves title contenders. Can West consider themselves title contenders from this point in the season?
I don't think so. I think it's a little bit of a rebuilding and a restocking period, and I think that's the way it should be seen. But again, that shouldn't deny us and stop us aiming for victories and getting for victories. As you mentioned at the beginning, we've been competitive, but I think it's a case of, getting those wins. Let's aim for a couple, see what happens. But with the season so short and so sharp these days, it's difficult to sort of see us getting into the finals from here.
And finally, we come out of the scrum situation. We thought there might have been a penalty or a yellow card coming out of there. We've spent the last 5 or so minutes at the same scrum location, and again, another penalty, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, offside there. Let's see what they do.
Kicking for touch, so we'll go to the line out, and West looking to their maul again, potentially. Maybe some of the backline players out here will be doing some squats and star jumps to stay warm. It's getting a little bit cool here this afternoon.
Yeah, with the sun going down, it is getting a little bit cool, and they need to sort of get that blood into their limbs so that they can power over the line from out wide.
No danger of cramping in the back line, but the forward line's a different story. Again, that breakdown goes down. Evenly matched, these two teams, it seems, in the forward pack this afternoon. Laturu taken to ground eventually.
Loose ball, he's kicked it out.
Gives it back to Astle. Astle in the maroon headgear, jigs and goes himself, so there's not much of that under-20s player. Astle, he's doing well this afternoon. And it goes back through hands up to the short side.
Oh.
Gonzalo Chain had a late offload and gave the man on the outside a little bit of room to move. West still have the ball. It's come back to Chain. He's still going. Defence from Gungahlin has Trent Pollard on the sideline jumping around.
Yeah, I think West do deserve a try. They've had the ball locked down this end of the field for some time now. Just talking to Pete Ranks, the West scrum half during the week, he said combinations would definitely be the key. If they can keep the ball down this end, there's no reason they can't get that going. Their combinations have been pretty good throughout the game, so hopefully they can secure the ball down here.
They've had plenty of possession in this half of the field, and you would imagine Craig Roberts wouldn't be too happy if they can't convert.
Exactly right. It's you're down here for a reason, one reason, and that's to score. If you can't do that after camping out down here, it makes it very, very hard for you to get into the game. It's another scrum down here. They were held up over the line, so West have got another chance to attack here. Hopefully they'll get that ball out nice and cleanly. Ignite their back line. Get some of these guys. Lukey Morrison, his legs have gone white waiting out here. It's that cold, and he hasn't got any blood in him. He needs to get moving.
I was about to suggest that perhaps Craig Roberts and Dan Atkins may be reconsidering changing any of their back line because there's no need. They've all had a rest in the last 10 minutes.
No, exactly right. They're certainly getting plenty of air.
Coming up to the three-quarter mark in this game, 23 and a half minutes left at Jamison Oval. The club line match of the round. With me is Dave Lane in the commentary box-ish. And
it's box shaped, Kieran, so that counts for something.
And Trent Pollard on the sideline. Thanks for joining us this afternoon at Jamison Oval. We are for the club line match of the round. And a real tussle here. Gungahlin doing it tough. They were the favourites coming into this game. West's had the ascendancy early on. They scored the first 2 tries, and Gungahlin scored the next 2 in the first half and the first one of the second half to take a lead here. 22 and a half minutes left as we set another scrum. This would be close to the 7th scrum in the same position. West looking dominant on this occasion. Peter Rains has come out the side and perhaps off a Gungahlin ball at foot. And it has come out, and West another opportunity to attack through the line out.
Oh, the pressure is immense. It's like the, that pressure cooker that your grandmother used to put on the stove and just go through and boil those chickens in within an hour. Mate, something's got to give soon.
Who's going to eat the chicken? And the line out is good for Pizzamiglio, the Argentinian who doesn't speak any English. Doing well at the top of the line out there for West. They've still got the ball. They've come out. They've got a bit of room, and it is a try this afternoon. West hitting back, and you can hear the cheers. The West dominant crowd at Jamison Oval. Dave Lane, you'll be happy with that one.
Very much so. Looks like Gary Bortz was the one at the back of the mall there. Took it over. The guy's as wide as South Africa is big, and he was able to barge through over for the try there. Definitely needed. Certainly put the wind back into them, I think. And from here, they'll get the ball back, and then they'll look at really attacking and getting back into that good position. I think that's the key. If they can keep that good position and work back down there, get the Eagles on the back foot, they can come home with a wet sail in this one.
Absolutely. 21 and a half minutes left. The last 10 or so minutes was spent almost in exactly the same position. I'm surprised we're not seeing the backline players jumping around and warming up again, but Luke Morrison now will have to make sure that his legs are nice and warm because he has an opportunity to kick his first conversion of the afternoon. He's missed the first two. 19 points to 15. 19 points to 17 sounds a lot nicer for the West lineup. Here he goes at the moment, Luke Morrison on the ball. I apologise, I think that's been changed. Morrison kicked the last two and missed them, so he's been moved out of that position of place kicker. And the kick is wide. It was a tough kick from the sideline. So the score remains 19 points to 15, less than a unconverted try in it. West right back into the game. Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Mate, Eagles are making a few substitutions here. They did say at half-time at the 20-minute mark they would be doing so. Mesu Dolakotu, don't say that 10 times fast. He's just replaced Jake Helgson on the flank, and Chris Quell, the other flank, has just come off as Xavier Duffy. So two big changes for the Eagles. Hopefully that'll put a bit of spring in their step.
And certainly that forward pack needing a bit of a refresher after defending on their line successfully for the most part. JP Fennegatau finds himself as a loose wing, the number 8, taking plenty of space to run up, but his foot must have caught a bit of chalk as he hit the West's advantage line there.
Yeah, good defence there by the guys out wide just to sort of nullify his attack before he wound up and did some damage. But those, it's interesting that Trent said that there have been a few tactical changes at this point. It's about now you start to need to have those fresh legs coming in, giving you guys that go forward and that little bit of spark. So hopefully West will start doing that soon. I'm just looking at the bench and there is some spark that can come on and do a few good things. And I expect that'll start happening very, very soon.
Another line out is lost by West on this occasion. Brody Lieber was up there, but he couldn't quite get it. The line out was a little bit far away from Lieber, and the referee ruled that it was a knock-on off the number 8's hand. And so Gungahlin, 19 points to 17, 18 and 50 seconds left on the clock. Here at Jamison Oval, Trent?
There's got to be a direct correlation with degrees Celsius and the energy levels out here, because the boys, they all just look flat from both sides. I think hopefully a few substitutions will change that, but it's a pretty ugly arm wrestle at the moment.
They certainly lost some spark, Dave, from earlier on in the game where they were happy to throw it around despite some mistakes.
Yeah, exactly right. It has gone into that arm wrestle, you know. It's once they're getting that ball and getting that face play, it is that sort of 1 out, 2 out sort of play. Early in the first half, they were spreading it wide, 2 or 3 off the ruck themselves and trying to make that space down through past the 5'8" in the attacking. Now, it's basically get it, truck it forward and hope.
We have some kids having a bit of a pygmy game just in front of our sideline mic there. That's what you can hear in your headphones or on your computer if you're watching at home, as they spread it wide for the first time in a little while.
Oh, good tackle there.
Laturu dominant. Fennegatau now takes it up to the 22. Gungahlin give it back through hands, and a big run now from Gungahlin. They take it up the centre of the field. Which way will they go? They come back towards the grandstand side of the field here at Jamison Oval. Back to McGee. Club captain Ben McGee. Lovell gives it one away to Small. West looking nice and strong in defence here. They'll be tested on their left side defence now. The ball goes back onto the inside to Ashland. Ashland is taken down eventually. They're looking good now. Gungahlin, Big Dobson over the line, and the referee says it is another 5 points for Gungahlin Eagles through. One of the Dobsons has crossed the line. You may be able to confirm for us there, Trent.
Looks like a Ray to me.
Ray Dobson over the line, under the posts, and Gungahlin take their lead back out to 9 points with the kick to come.
It's, a little bit of spark that we talked about coming back into it. A couple of quick plays there, a little bit more enthusiasm has certainly got West on the back foot. But how about that inside pass? That was a brilliant one. He drew him wide and then flicked it inside. He almost got there himself, but they were able to capitalise one or two phases later.
Ray Dobson, the experience, and close to the line, hard to stop for Gungahlin. With just under 16 minutes left in this half, Luke Duffy to take the kick. And it's good, another 2 points. Ashland coming in for the injured Pat Tuidraki this afternoon for Gungahlin. The late male, Tuidraki, ruled out on Thursday. An attacking weapon and perhaps a Brumbies player of the future, at least he hopes so. He gave up an opportunity to try out for the Auckland Blues at the start of the year. That was not thunder that you heard. That was the ball hitting the fence with our mic on the sideline there. So don't worry, there's not been an incident up in the north of Canberra.
My goodness, I thought we were in for something there. Yeah, a bit of a mushroom cloud, that's right.
Bouncer's line-out throw is good. Rain's pass is good, but Laturu made a meal of it. It hit the deck and Astle was there behind him to clean up.
Yeah, it's gone back a little bit of a nutmeg there. But they're certainly really pressuring Peter Rains through that line out and at the back of the scrums. They certainly can see that he's one of the main attacking
The steal
generals.
comes away and Jamie Cox finds him down. Twinkle toes down the sideline. He's way too quick down the sideline. Jamie Cox over the line for Gungahlin. They extend their lead yet again.
He is quick, Jamie Cox, that's for sure. Certainly had no room to work there and managed to run in a straight line. Didn't even need to step or get past anyone. Just pinned his ears back and went for it.
Trent Pollard, that all unfolded right in front of you.
Mate, that is as typical as you'll see from Mesu Jolikotu. He takes the ball up to the line with one hand and always looks for an offload. And if you find Jamie Cox in space, it's only going to end up one way.
And that right side defence has been tested all afternoon, Dave Lane.
Yeah, exactly right. It's going to have to shore it up. They're giving a little bit too much room. I think they're expecting that they're going to have no room down there. But as you can see, and as you saw, it didn't take much. All they needed was that little bit of room, a foot width either side, and the balance and the speed of the guy were able to get through and make it. So that's 2 tries for him down this side, and it could have been another 3 or 4 more we saw in the first half.
And according to the online stats, you can find that on the Brumbies page. Jamie Cox of Gungahlin, the winger, is the leading try scorer for the season, but I believe a couple of clubs haven't filled in their stats, so I'm not sure if that's absolutely correct. But Jamie Cox, 7 tries before this game, 9 tries for the season for Jamie Cox as the kick goes wide.
Yeah, technicalities, they're sometimes your best friend in terms of statistics and records. He can though spend this weekend telling everyone he's the leading try scorer.
That'll do. Another change coming up here for Gungahlin, Trent.
Yeah, Sione's coming on for Ray Dobson, so Ray's going to have a bit of a breather. Sione's he's featured pretty heavily in Eagles' first grade seasons gone by, so it's a pretty good change for the Eagles having him on standby.
And an impressive, nearly 70 minutes from Ray Dobson. He's blowing pretty hard as he leaves the field for Gungahlin. Gungahlin with a sizable lead now. West have a lot of work to do to get back into this game with 12 and a half minutes left on the clock. Gungahlin looking the better side this afternoon. West have had their opportunities. And 16 points the difference. It's never over till it's over.
Yeah, Here we go. Well, hopefully Western can launch something from here to get back into it. Off the knock on there from the Eagles. But again, it's about grit. It's about internal, strength and lifting beyond it. You know that the score's a little bit ahead of you and you've got a lot of time, but you don't want it to get any worse. So you need to sort of lift, dig deep, and do what you got to do to get back into it. The guys are certainly not out of it. They can get a couple of tries. Who knows what can happen? A couple of mistakes and sweat them on there, but it is an uphill battle for West at the moment.
And Dave, there's obviously the leadership group of Ben Coots and Gary Botts in the front row there. Is there anyone else they'll be looking to step up to lead the charge into the last 10 minutes?
Peter Rains is always the one. He is the leader of the group. But again, as I mentioned earlier, he's getting pressured a lot off the back of the scrum, so it's making it difficult for him to do his job as best as he can.
Trent Pollard, you got something for us on the sideline?
Man, I'm just finding it interesting. I mean, you look at the Eagles have been pressing pretty hard and they're making consistent changes. Not one West's bench player has stood up in the last 10 to 15 minutes, so I can't see a change coming anytime soon for West. And even if there is an injury, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
It is very interesting that West haven't had... they haven't had changes in the last 10 minutes at least, and they haven't had many changes this game at all. 10 minutes left to go. There'll be a few players out on their feet.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, there's one change there in the centres, I think. I think one of the Ludero boys has come off. I think Junior's come off, and there's been a bit of a change there. So it's some new blood. But in the forwards, you need some new guys coming in. You need a little bit of enthusiasm and spark. You just can't keep going through the motions in such a tough game. And it has been tough in those tough exchanges, and certainly at scrum time, it has really, really been a battle and an arm wrestle.
Another collapsed scrum here this afternoon. Perhaps a sign of tired legs. Johnny Pio with another little step. His head gets into that big step. And he takes it to the line and gives West a little bit of ascendancy. But that ball from Astle hit Laturu and it went down again. And knock on off Gungahlin though. So West will get the loose head.
About 9.5 to go in the game here, and again, it's at that time. I reckon there could be a try each left in this game, even though it's less than 10 minutes. But both teams are, the Eagles are pressing. They're looking for another one, and West are going to have to work for one. But I think they've both got one each left in them.
Trent?
Boys, it was an interesting point you're making about the subs. I was just talking to Chris Coyle, who's just been replaced from the Eagles flank. He reckons that the new boys for the Eagles, Xavier and Messer, have really upped the energy out there. And he tells me that Wests are absolutely gassed. So he reckons there's no talk from Wests at the scrum time or anything like that. So I'm surprised there hasn't been a sub made yet.
West will have to suck it up now because they've got some good field position and an opportunity to close that gap again. 16 points the margin. Coots. Rains to Astle. Astle saw that the defence was coming up and didn't give it. And gets a penalty for a high shot. Clever play from Astle. A pass there may have cost them the possession.
Yeah, exactly right. It certainly looked like he was going to let it go out to his left, but he held it on and took it into the tackle and come away with a bit of a benefit. Now they're looking to head into that corner. They're going to rely on that line out again, and let's see if they can get over here.
And it hasn't been Astle's first opportunity this year. How's he tracking in your eyes?
He's not too bad. He's starting to come through again. You know, that second tier experience. He's one of the Colts players. He's learning his game and controlling men, and it is a big difference. I mean, when you're out in the street, 19, 20 is a man, you know, but here on the football field, it's a couple of years to go where you're comfortable telling people who have played at the highest level, like Ben Coots, what to do and where to be and all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. West again attacking that right side defence of Gungahlin. Rains gives it wide. Astle now. A good ball to P.O. and P.O.'s in some space. He's got 10 people or so on him. In the end, it was a tackle around the legs that stopped him. And it's Morrison. Morrison's still going, but he's absolutely swamped by Gungahlin Eagles. Somehow he manages to stay in. Good work from Morrison. Rains gives it back in to Rowe. They still have the ball through Bouts. Rains looks short side. Sniping himself. He's held up.
Oh, referee's called offside there, by the looks of it.
And Bouts on the ground there. Maybe holding his... just maybe a bit of cramp or exhaustion. He's up again, Carry Bouts. So back through. Astle takes the tap. Gives it to Laturu. Laturu one out to P.O. Genuine opportunity now for Wests. A few metres from their line. A big hit from Fenekatau. Well, a strong tackle anyway from Fenekatau on Rowe. Slows the play down, and Morrison now. The ball comes spinning out the back of the ruck. Bouts hit high and goes down. Rains to Astle, and finding himself in some space is the Argentinian Gonzalo Chain.
Well done. He was certainly off the chain there. Found himself in the right spot at the right time to crash over under the post. So well done. Or, as they say in Argentina, arriba, I assume.
I think Gonzalo Chain's English may be a bit better than your Argentinian.
Yes, I think so.
Well, an opportunity, a fantastic little play there from West. They held on to the ball, which is all that Craig Roberts was asking of his players. And that ended in a strong lock forward angle run from the Argentinian Gonzalo Chain. And the score now 22 points to 31, 5.5 minutes left on the clock.
It's probably come about 10 minutes late, too late in that game, that point score to give that little bit of enthusiasm to it. You can see that the guys are bouncing around. I think they're still in it, but it should have happened about 10 minutes ago.
And a leap and a good catch from Dylan Rowe there, playing Aussie rules for a moment. Gives it out to Laturu, who nearly runs into his own man. An inside pass finds P.O. And P.O. again doing a lot of work this afternoon. Johnny P.O. from the wing. He's acted in all positions this afternoon.
Yeah, both the Hair Bear bunch out there for West have been pretty impressive for mine. Johnny P.O. and Dylan Rowe, they've both been more than willing to throw their body into the defensive line.
Come back short side now for West. Laturu ends up skidding down to a halt. Right in front of us here, just short of the half line, is West's. Gonzalo Chain, the try scorer. And late offload to P.O., but Gungahlin looking very strong in defence. Penalised now at the breakdown. So West will get into their own half. Into the attacking half.
It's not a bad kick there, about 10 metres into the Gungahlin half there for the Lions. They're going to try something a little bit different and try some of their backline moves here, try and get the some inside ball and cut through, but we'll see how they go.
A short little line out is right in front of Trent Pollard. Trent, you have JP Fenekatau with you as Johnny P.O. Just a second, Trent takes a big step up to Gungalin's line. And West are penalised again. Yeah, Trent, you have JP Fenekatau, who's come off the field.
That's right, boys. I'm here with the big bopper of the Eagles, JP Fenekatau. He's had a great second half here. Now, what's been the reason for the new lead here?
We've been working out. We got a bye last week, and we've been working hard on these last 2 days, and Tuesday and Thursday on formation today. The boys are really working hard. We know they are good tight, and I think as you can see the scoreboard is a success today. Working hard from the boys.
Thanks, JP. Cheers, mate. I think there was a bit of a language barrier down here, boys.
Thanks, Trent, and it was good of JP Fenekatau to take a moment out, clearly out of breath. A big game from him. He was involved in a lot of crucial plays for Gungahlin in the first half. Dave?
Yeah, he was. He's certainly been the difference. He had that go forward and that power running that you need in the modern game. You need one or two guys with that power running game. The the rest forming in behind so that you can set your phases for the next one. And he certainly brought it for the Eagles today.
2 minutes left on the clock, and Gungahlin looked to have an unassailable lead, which you called quite a while ago, Dave. But West haven't given up, to their credit.
No, that's right. They just had a little bit of a shepherd there. They were over for the line, but they just got a bit of an obstruction, so the ball's turned over, and the Eagles get the feed and that bottom corner. So if they can get out of here and then play some good defence, they'll have this one.
So West penalised for their scrummaging. And we'll come back to Gungahlin loose head.
You don't get much of an advantage anymore by wheeling that scrum. They certainly took it out. It used to be that if you go the 90, the opposition would get the ball. So if you tried to wheel it these days, it just goes back to the team that fed it. So they reset it, and here they go again. So much of an advantage for the Eagles as anything else here.
A little bit more to say for the referee as the clock ticks past the 1 minute to go mark. 31 points to 22. It has been a beautiful afternoon here at Jamison Oval. Only a few days left of autumn. Dave, we're getting into the hairy part of the season.
Mate, it is going to be cold. It is going to be bleak. It is going to be stripped of leaves around here. It's going to be very skeletal out here, the landscape. But still, the action on top will be certainly warm enough to keep everyone coming.
And we've had quite a dry period in Canberra, but you wouldn't believe it looking at this beautiful Jamison Oval. The groundkeepers obviously taking good care of it during the cricket off-season, the rugby season. And another picturesque oval we get to come out to for the Club Line match of the round. We're doing the rounds all season. One game a week. You'll see live streams with commentary. And you can tune in by finding the link on the Brumbies Facebook page. A quick moment as well to thank our sponsors again, Club Lime, Hans Superdry, Powerade, and Aquas, the sponsors of the Brumbies, for making this possible. It's great to be able to take the local competition to you at home. There's plenty of players in this competition from interstate or overseas who get to tune in. And obviously, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to have your say, hashtag JID16. And stay in touch with us during the week on Facebook and on Twitter through the Brumbies page. You can keep up to date with what's happening in the local competition. The quality of the competition as West take a short side quick tap and they get close to the line. Some cheering and jumping around, but held up, says the referee. So we'll come back and West will have another opportunity. The scoreboard's just gone down. Looks like it's been reset, but there can't be long to go.
That's right, it was scored, just to remind you, it was 31-22. There it is, it's back up, and we're going to play for another 100 minutes. we might win if we've got another 100 minutes in us, so.
And those of you watching at home can't see the scoreboard that we're referring to. There's maybe a bit of a technical glitch, and 100 minutes has been put on the board, so maybe that's injury time. We've had a couple of injuries this afternoon.
Yeah, quite could be.
Trent Pollard.
Can't be much to go.
And again, we're in exactly the same position as we spent most of this half in. It's Gary Bounce who stretches over the line and gets the try for West late in the game. It's too little too late, though. 22 points to 31 it was. Now 27 to 31, quick kick to come.
Yeah, it's pretty close. If they were, like I said, a little bit closer and a little bit earlier, that last try would have rallied them. There would have been enough time to overrun them, but unfortunately it came a little bit too late at the 5-minute mark to go. But they did work it out. They haven't given up. It could have kicked away to 40-something to 19 or whatever, 40-something to 20, but they've stuck with it, Wes. They can hold their head high a little bit in terms of that, but plenty to work on, like most teams that get beat during the week of training.
Absolutely. And West's, again, a tough loss in that they weren't dominated, but they don't get the points.
No, exactly right. It was a few bad passes, a few errors that got away, and the speed of some of the opposition players certainly didn't help at all. So it became a really tough assignment when you're giving the ball away. It makes it so difficult to win football games.
Absolutely. So a disappointing afternoon in the end for West, but they can hold their heads high, as Dave Lane just alluded to, because They've played a strong game of rugby this afternoon. We've seen some individual brilliance and we've seen some dominance from Gungahlin. They are real title contenders this year. They go 4-3. They stay in touch with Royals in equal third place on the ladder, and Queanbeyan and Vikings out in front. West, a lot of work to do, but plenty on the cards for the future.
Yeah, hard week of training, check the injuries, and again, push forward. Next week they take on East. Both teams haven't won a game, so it's going to be an interesting one to see who gets the wood over the other. The Compass Cup, as I call it, it's all points are up. East to west, we meet it next week. It's going to be a cracker.
In the other games next week, Gungahlin head back home up to Gungahlin Enclosed Oval to take on Uni North, which will be a one to watch. But the one that you can watch next week here in the live stream for the Club Line match around will be the grand final replay. Tuggeranong up against Royals. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon on Club Line Match of the Round with us, sponsored by Aquas, Han Superdry, Club Lime and Powerade. Thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box here, Dave Lane. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Mate, thanks for having me on here, and good luck out there to all the other teams. We'll be looking forward to seeing you next time, and hopefully we'll have a win next time West plays.
Best of luck for the rest of the season, West, and thanks again to Trent Pollard on the sideline.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks again.